When I started practicing many, many years ago, there wasn't any social media to worry about with respect to handling a personal injury case. Personal injury cases, that was not an issue, but defendants are always looking for a way to minimize your injuries, minimize your damages. And one way they can do that is by looking at various medical records and finding an entry in there that they think is helpful for them that may hurt your case. These days, one of the most popular ways to try to affect a personal injury case from a defendant's point of view is to search for social media entries for a number of reasons. Let's start with the whole concept of social media. So social media, what are we talking about? We're talking about Facebook. We're talking about Instagram. We're talking about LinkedIn. We're talking about all of these various sites where people put posts of themselves, they respond to other people's posts, etc. So one of the things that I've always noticed, and I think a lot of people notice, is that people tend to put their very, very best foot forward when they're on a site like Facebook or Instagram. So you will often be left with the false impression that a person's life is absolutely perfect and every day is happy and everything is terrific. And that may work for Facebook, but that's terrible for personal injury cases. Because if you have an injury, let's say, but you still are posting on social media, you're probably not going to be posting about how much your injury is hurting you, because that's not what you find on Facebook. What you find on Facebook is how great everything is. So there may be the one event that you do out of an entire year where you're injured, and you go to this one event and you suck it up. And even though you're in pain, you get on a dance floor, let's say, and you try to dance, and that gets caught on, that's in a video, and you post it on Facebook. Now, the defendants going to look through your social media, they happen upon that on Facebook. And it's very, very difficult because when you get to a trial, they're going to have that video of, let's say, if you were dancing, of you dancing. And that may have been the 1 second that you were dancing the entire year, and the entire year was a horrible year. But it's going to create a false impression for the jury. The jury is going to think, wow, this person's dancing, this person's completely fine. So why am I going to be giving this person any money? So that's one area that we worry about, is the false impression that it can give. Another thing is that in a personal injury case, we have all sorts of discovery where we give depositions and there are transcripts. So a plaintiff will testify in their case even before they get to trial and give what they call a deposition. And they're going to answer lots of questions. God forbid that there is something in social media that contradicts what you said at trial. For example, I can't go play golf anymore. Okay. But then sure enough, somebody goes onto your social media and finds that you pinned a golf course. Well, guess what? That can come into evidence. And even if they don't show the video, the very fact that you're at the golf course when you testified in your deposition that you don't play golf anymore, that could really be a problem. So that's another area that we're very, very worried about, is contradictory testimony. And I'm going to give you a real life example. I had a trial with a plaintiff and who had significant injuries, had back injuries, had some surgeries. There was a Facebook entry of him holding a fish. And his answer to why he was holding fish, he said it wasn't him. It was someone else's fish. Well, no matter what, it was terrible. If it was his fish and he was fishing and caught a large fish, well, how hurt is he if he's capable of doing that, pulling a large fish onto a boat and be out on a boat, for a full day? And if in fact he was holding someone else's fish, well, that doesn't sound very credible. Usually you hold your own fish. So he's creating a credibility issue for himself with that social media entry. I was able to settle his case because the expert who testified for the defendant was so horrible that eventually they did settle the case with me. But it was very, very problematic and certainly not something that I want to have to worry about on every single case.